Today, I'm going to walk you through how to beat Progress Mode Junimo Kart in Stardew Valley 1.5. Here's a quick overview of everything we're going to cover. If you're only having trouble with a particular level, timestamps can be found in the video description. If you're here because you have to beat a score of 50,000, this video can still help you out, but is geared more towards Progress Mode. In my personal experience, being able to consistently beat Junimo Kart in Progress Mode has made the 50,000 Endless Challenge much easier. Also, this is my first time doing a video like this, so if you like the video, like the video. In the description below, you can find a link to my Twitch. I play games including Stardew and the regular. Thanks for watching. Let's get right into it. First, you need to know how to unlock Junimo Kart. Junimo Kart is unlocked by reaching the bottom of the mines at level 120. The chest there contains a key that allows you to play the arcade game in Gus's Saloon. From there, you have two options: Progress Mode, which you can beat, and an Endless Mode, which is one life but score-based. The only actions you can take are Jump, which is either done by pressing the left mouse button, spacebar, or bottom face button on controller. Depending on how long you press the button changes how high and how far your Junimo goes. Each level has a variety of hazards that can hit your Junimo and cause you to lose a life. You also lose a life if you fall off the bottom of the screen. You start each level with 3 lives, so if you finish the level with no lives left, don't worry, you'll get those lives back at the next level. Coins are scattered across the level, as well as 3 fruits. Each fruit is worth 10 coins when gathered. Once you reach 100 coins, you gain an extra life the moment you get those 100 coins. And if you gather all 3 fruits in a level, at the end of the level, you gain an extra life. If you have more than 3 lives at the end of a level, those extra lives will carry over. Checkpoints are small lanterns scattered around the course. Whenever you lose a life, you'll be taken back to the last checkpoint, and if you run out of lives, you'll have to start all over. Each level is procedurally generated each time you play, so luck is a bit of a factor when playing Junimo Kart, but ultimately it comes down to practice and skill. To beat a level, you have to cross the arrow at the end of the level. Each level in Junimo Kart has a different gimmick and aesthetic, and my biggest tip for beating Junimo Kart is learning how each level performs and understanding that you can't play the first level the same as the 4th level. The first level is the toughest for most, and the one you'll be most familiar with. At first, take time learning the different jumps, long jumps over gaps, and also short hopping the small gaps. The coins in the first level are almost always a guideline of where you should go, as well as the fruit. You will not be able to get 100 coins in the first level, so it makes no difference if you beat the first level with 3 lives left or no lives left. Boulders can fall from the ceiling, and if you hit them directly, your Junimo will fall and lose a life. If you jump on top of the boulder, you won't get hit and you'll bounce. If you hold the jump button or press it upon hitting the boulder, you can bounce further off of these boulders. There are also small wooden barricades that show up throughout the level. If you hit them head on, you'll crash and lose a life. However, if you jump on top of them, you will destroy them and take no damage. My biggest tip for this level is to practice and not give up. A lot of people will quit after a few deaths, but just keep going. Chase after the coins and try to gather all of the fruit. If you lose a life, it doesn't matter. As long as you finish the first level, that's all that matters. Slippery Slopes is just like its title, and features plenty of slopes covered in ice that can make you go very fast and very far. Boulders are gone on this level, and the only hazards are the wooden barricades and harder gaps to jump. After slipping on the ice, going back to normal track will slow you down back to your normal speed. I would recommend taking this course slow and mostly ignoring the coins and fruit as guidelines. Once you can consistently make it to either Glowshroom Grotto or Hot Rollercoaster, then I would start experimenting with the slopes and trying to go far and fast. Use the coins and fruit as guidelines for large jumps only when you know how to time your jumps and keep your fast slope speed. If you manage to beat the level in under 60 seconds, you can skip the boss levels and go straight to Ghastly Galleon. After beating Slippery Slopes in more than 60 seconds, the game randomly selects one of 2 boss levels for you to take on. The first one, an easier one, is Slomps Stomp. In this level, a giant slime, who I can only assume is Slomp, is constantly chasing you at a fixed speed. there are little patches of slime across the track that when driven through will slow you down tremendously, allowing Slomp to hit you and cause you to lose a life. The speed and distance between jumps on Slomps Stomp is nearly identical to the first level, Crumble Cavern, and should feel very familiar. My biggest recommendation is to act like the slime patch trails are instead gaps and to avoid them at all costs. If you have to absolutely jump on one, immediately jump off of it as soon as possible as to not slow down your Junimo. The other of the two levels, and one of the hardest in the game, is the Gem Sea Giant. In this level, a whale, who I will refer to as Bertha, constantly shoots bubbles at you that move in hard to predict directions. These bubbles will knock out your Junimo upon a head-on collision, but if you jump on top of the bubble, you'll bounce off. Just like with the boulders, holding the jump button or clicking upon landing on a bubble will cause you to jump much higher than usual. The physics in this level are slow and awkward, and honestly, the bubbles are kind of hit or miss when it comes to luck and being able to complete the level. For tips, try and hit checkpoints even if you lose a life. Bertha's bubbles can be slightly predicted as she tends to line them up based on where you are when firing them. So if you can stay low the whole time, then the bubble should also be low. Also, gaps in the track that are one track piece wide in this level do not require a jump and you can just go right over them. It feels a bit weird, but it could come in handy. The next level is Ghastly Galleon, and if you've made it this far, congratulations! I would consider this your official milestone, and being able to consistently make it to Ghastly Galleon means you've got the basics down and are one step closer to beating Junimo Kart. In this level, barricades are back, but there's still not much of a threat. Little ghosts move around, and if you hit them anywhere, you will crash and lose a life. The hitbox on these ghosts are kind of massive, so try to long jump over them. On this level, I like to gather as many coins as possible and gather all the fruit to save up for next level, which will make or break your run. This level also features a bunch of long gaps, and my biggest recommendation is that almost all of these jumps are going to be as long as possible. So jump at the very end and hold the jump button for as long as possible. Obviously, this doesn't apply to every jump, but more often than not, I'm just sending it across these wide gaps. We're almost at the end here. Just like with slippery slopes, the path splits in two here, and the choices are not even. The easier of the options is Red Hot Rollercoaster, but I like to call it Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. On Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, barricades are gone, but boulders are back. There are tons of coins, usually enough to get you 1 or 2 lives each run. The tricky thing here is that the course likes to do these weird diagonal things which can throw off your muscle memory and make you mess up your jumps. The trick to this level is to go for the coins and fruit as they are great guidelines. The distance of the gaps here look the same as Ghastly Galleon. However, most of these jumps you're going to be making are actually medium and small hops rather than full jumps. This could be tricky as you're just coming off the muscle memory of Ghastly Galleon, but trust me, learn to play each level differently and you'll come to understand that Mr. Bones is a wild ride of hopping, while Ghastly Galleon is just going full send all the time. Easily, the hardest level in the entire game is Glowshroom Grotto, or Mushroom Gorge as I like to call it. Multiple things make this level hard, and honestly, to beat this level, you first have to get lucky with a level that won't ruin your day, and then you have to apply skill to beat that level. There are no boulders or wooden barricades, which sounds great, but honestly, it gets worse. There are these giant purple mushroom platforms that come in pairs. When you jump on the first one, the longer you stay on it, the higher up the other one goes. Almost always, you want to ride the first one as long as possible. Some jumps are actually impossible to make unless you get the first mushroom as low as you can. The next hazards on this level are these stupid red mushrooms that shoot a stupid cloud of stupid spores. The hitbox is massive and there's nothing you can do. When it comes to these, honestly, you have to get lucky. You either have to long jump over all of the shrooms, or short hop in between the shrooms and their stupid clouds. Not really a danger, but there are also small purple mushrooms on the course that you can bounce off of that behave a lot like jumping off the bubbles from Bertha. These aren't much of an issue, just an annoyance. The biggest issue with Mushroom Gorge is that sometimes you will not find a single checkpoint. You can go through the entire level, get to the end, have 3 red mushrooms in a row with their stupid mushroom clouds, and have to go back to the very beginning. It's brutal. This level is the most RNG heavy, but also the most skill intensive. This is either going to be the most fun and easiest level you've ever had, or actually impossible. Congratulations, you've done it. You've made it to the end. Getting to the final level of Junimo Kart is an accomplishment, and you're so close to beating it. Luck didn't get you here, skill did. So remember that you've earned it. Now you just have to finish it. Sunset Speedway is a fairly simple level with a variety of gaps both vertical and horizontal. My first tip is to completely ignore the coins. Your brain is going to tell you to gather as many coins as possible, but just ignore them and focus on beating the level. The next tip is to stay as high as possible. Being higher on the track gives you more options for landing, and also means you can avoid a lot of smaller and trickier jumps down below. Also, completely ignore the fruit unless those 10 coins are going to help you get a life. You're already on the last level, and gathering 3 fruits are not going to help you out anymore. Lastly, you want to do a lot of long and tall jumps rather than short hops. Don't try and hop 3 to 4 times to gather coins, instead just jump once and don't risk it. And eventually, with enough practice and effort, you will beat Junimo Kart. The very next in-game day, you will receive a Junimo Kart cabinet in the mail so you can play anywhere you want. If you beat the first level without dying, gathering every coin, and gathering every fruit, you go to a secret level. The secret level takes the place of Slippery Slopes and is full of coins to help you gather lives for the run going forward. It's a neat reward, however, I do not recommend going for it, because if you get the secret level, you have to do a boss level. Speaking of boss levels, as I mentioned earlier, you can skip them on Slippery Slopes. All you have to do is beat the level in under 60 seconds. My trick is to ride the slopes as long as possible and try to do long and far jumps to keep your momentum. Whenever you hit the ground, immediately hop so you don't lose your speed. Another trick is stacking lives, mostly when it comes to coins. You can carry over lives if you have more than 3 at the end. However, let's say you have 90 coins and 2 lives. If you gather 10 coins on that level, you will go back to 3 lives. If you instead avoid the coins, you'll still start the next level with 3 lives and can pretty quickly gather a 4th life from getting the rest of the coins. Finally, my last tip is to just take your time and be proud of your progress. Approach each level as its own challenge and accomplishment. Sure, all you do is jump, but the jumping on Crumble Cavern is not the same as the jumping in Ghastly Galleon. Okay, so I'm looking at the wiki. Apparently it's Ghastly Galleon. It's not Ghostly Galleon. So for all of you on your keyboards, typing away in the comments going, hey, you keep saying Ghostly Galleon, it's Ghastly Galleon. I know that now. I always call it Banshee Boardwalk, but now I know. Sorry. Anyways, keep tackling it and calm your nerves. Take breaks if needed. Don't throw your controller. Give it enough time and practice, you can beat it. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I really hope this helps you beat Junimo Kart. If you have any advice or feedback, leave it in the comments down below. And if you made it to the end, comment, I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. Again, my Twitch is down below if you want to see me play more games. Thanks for watching.